Good morning and welcome to We Are Live.
It's Monday. We're here, people. Chris Emmett, Travis Stroh, live in Midcoast Studio. Hearing some sniffy giggling. And that could only mean one man.
What could that mean?
Or from behind an old lady.
Yeah.
Hello, Chris Gardner. How are you?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Giggling puff.
No, it's Chris. We're here, people.
That's all right.
We are here, people. Good morning, gentlemen, and good morning, walnuts.
Put it up, put it up, put it up, walnuts.
There's a gentleman that just passed me on the sidewalk as I was smoking and said to me, "Nice hair, man." I said, "Oh, thanks."
That's such a nice compliment to hear on a
Yeah.
Monday morning.
I wasn't
Nice hair,
expecting-
man.
Nice hair, man.
That's kind of usually the looks you get.
Mm-hmm. Normally, I have SLU security profiling me.
Very hard.
And we'll see. Maybe this week, my hair will look a little different at some point.
Oh, we getting a new trimity trim?
I don't do trims, Travis, really.
Jesus, here we go. Is it an experience?
Well,
Will they take old lady hair for the donations?
I'm looking into that this week.
They were like, well, it's not so much the color as it is the years of tobacco-infused
Now-
chemicals.
I could be possibly providing some outreach in a way to the African American community.
Okay.
Because I heard that there is a lady that cuts hair like in the Schnucks Plaza on Lindell.
Okay.
That they could possibly take my hair, and the color doesn't matter because it gets dyed and everything within,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. I can see that. That'd be really cool if.
But it's an organization that gives it to people with alopecia.
Yeah.
So we're exploring a few
There you go.
possibilities here. But normally, if it's not growing, I might get a few inches taken off here and there. But if if it's not growing, it's a 4 on top blended into the sides.
See, now that's how you get your white man trying to understand black woman plight film.
Yeah,
When you say
donating my hair.
donating his hair. So, like Gardner from time to time will go into a trance where his hair is now connected to a black woman, and he now lives life from time to time through their experiences. That's how you do it, Demon. That's how you do white guy inside black woman's body type of movie.
Now we're talking.
Now see how I got creative with it?
Creativity is
See
the
how that little plot twist? Now it makes it a little bit more grounded. It grounds the story, Chris. Close enough to reality.
Snap back to reality.
Who sings that? Very good rapper.
Oh, here we go.
The GOAT, greatest of all time rapper. So you're going to do that, really? Is this a new year, new me situation?
I like it. If it is, if it's
Are you
not
going to get
still.
in shape?
No,
No,
Okay.
he's not gonna do that.
I walk around.
He may drink a little bit more water and may take a couple more flights of stairs, but that
I
about
made
it.
I
Chili
ate half
Mac
a
last
Penn
night.
Station sub.
Yeah.
Travis
I
died.
cooked up some angel hair pasta. Got some Edmund's chili, the loaf. Have you ever seen the Edmund's chili loaf kind of deal?
I have not.
It's Edmund's chili is the chili they use at Courtesy Diner,
Oh, boy.
and cooked that up. Got some cheddar jack shredded cheese, diced up some onions, a little scoop of sour
That
cream,
sounds pretty damn good.
and I had myself a chili mac last night.
You big boy.
Nobody saw it coming.
Yeah.
What'd you have for
Chili Mac
dessert?
boy.
Actually, I wasn't able to eat the dessert. I do have some cheesecake in the fridge.
Oh, you're a cheesecake
Damn
boy.
it.
Yeah,
Why is life like this?
well, that's how it is.
Well, I'm looking forward to the new cut. You got somebody picked out to cut it?
Not quite yet. I have to check on a few things,
Hmm.
but we'll see.
I'm excited.
So I don't know. It'll go somewhere. I don't know where it's going yet, but I think it's going to happen this week.
Good. All right.
I think
Well,
we've.
something to
I
look
think.
forward
I
to.
think I'm committed to it this week.
Maybe I should try view the process.
Oh God. Well, it's not. I mean, I'm not getting like a fade or anything.
Oh, damn.
Or what if I did for a little bit?
I'm saying.
I think there's a black barber shop near me.
I'm saying. You
It's-
would have fade. That'd be
It's
fine.
on Boyle, I think. Because I I ride by him on the scooter from time to
You
time.
should just keep it long in the middle and on the left side, and then just shave the other side.
Let's get it done at a black barber shop.
Oh, Jesus
Would you-
Christ.
can we get you a mullet for a couple
Oh,
days?
Jesus.
Well, I'd rather not.
Just a couple days.
All-Star game's out of town now, Chris.
Yeah, they're like, hey, you
Yeah,
sticking around? Oh, I think so.
Sir, the Winnipeg players left weeks ago.
Should I get-
Why? Why are you still
Should I
here?
get it like a design? In
Oh,
the
my
side?
God.
Can they? Do they do that still?
They can. You pay them, they will.
What kind of design? What if I get Carte Blanche logo in there? Can they do that? It's like
Can
a
do
tat-
anything.
It's like a tattoo artist, but with your hair.
That'd be the most interesting haircut that Black Barber will have in 2020.
I could see the look of, I don't even know what the word is on your face of picturing me at a black barber shop.
It's
getting this done.
there are obviously a ton of black barbers who would do it. My favorite part is hopefully that you go to a black barber that has a large Instagram following. So when they put your do on there, they're just like, man, this motherfucker cold because he up here even doing white women hair. And that could like up that person's street cred. So you are going to become St. Louis black Instagram famous once you do that.
Oh God.
Yeah. And let me tell you, the Instagram St. Louis presence pretty strong. So you could become a mini celebrity here in a minute.
Let's figure this
What
out.
if we only took the photos from an angle where it appeared to be a female?
Oh, like from behind and
Aunt
such?
Chris. Yeah.
Or maybe just a little. I'd
Yeah.
have to like bring the beard in before I went because my plan was not to do anything with the beard until I got the haircut, so then I could match it up or whatever.
I kind of want this to be like you go in, like I want the Instagram video be you going in like overalls and a MAGA hat, and then you coming out with like a fade on the right side and an Obama hoodie on as you leave. Like this barber is so transformative that he's gonna turn this MAGA supporter into a liberal in a simple haircut.
That's all it takes.
That's all it takes is a haircut to switch your political allegiances. So yes, that's kind of what I want to do.
I'm changed. I'm a changed man.
And the thing about all of this is like we could actually do this because I know plenty of black barbers who would love to. So it's just at the end of the day, it's up to you on how you want to look. If you want to go for the fade, if Gandalf went to the hood look, I know some barbers will take care of that for you. Just something to consider.
Okay. Maybe I have to look at like. 'Cause, like, you
And
know,
maybe just
look,
go on
our
Insta-
hair's different, right?
Right. Or maybe just go on Instagram and find somebody who's like really, really good with the clippers and the scissors and have a large following. And be like, hey, would you be willing to do something with this hair and post a quick video on your IG and tag the page and tag me? I'm sure they'll be like, sure, why the hell not?
Yeah, let's thought shower this.
Okay.
summer.
Wow, a lot going on.
Okay.
It's a great way to start a Monday. Real quick, let's say thanks to our friends at Gateway Powder Coating. They take care of us, so you take care of them by supporting them whenever it's time to get some powder coating on those wheels, furniture, anything metal at your house that needs touched up. GatewayPowderCoat.com for more information. Real quick shout out. Tomorrow we're going to have our friend Amanda Woitis back on from St. Louis Magazine.
Nice.
The online version of our friend Yale Hollander's piece is up. I'm tweeting that out right now. You guys can check that out. Looks like the Sophie's couch is prominently featured. So that's exciting. But no, big ups to Yale and St. Louis Magazine. We're excited to have Amanda in. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Just wanted to get that out before we dove in this morning.
It was a rough weekend, and we never even really talk about these kind of stories. When we've been on the air for the last 4 years, we for the most part have avoided like really serious traumatic stories, and it's because I don't know if anybody's ever suited to talk about these kind of things. And we saw a little bit last night how even trained professionals has been doing this their entire career, struggle to do this. So we'll do our damnedest to talk about it. But as most of the world knows, Kobe Bryant, probably one of the greatest living basketball players of all time, of any generation, along with his daughter Gianna and several others, perished yesterday morning in a helicopter crash in Calabasas, California. Kobe Bryant was just 41. His daughter Gianna was just 13. And of course, there's another family that was aboard as well, accompanying the Bryants to their basketball game. Kobe, as we all know, traveled frequently through with helicopters throughout his time living in LA. He did it as a player, and certainly in his post-career, which involved him being involved with Hollywood projects and, of course, coaching his
Won an Oscar.
daughters. Yeah, won an Oscar literally a year ago. And then, of course, he would travel and often coach his daughter's basketball team in Southern California. The helicopter departed from John Wayne Airport in Orange County. It was going to Mamba Sports Academy in Thousand Oaks for Gianna's game. The first 911 call reporting the crash was received around 9:47 a.m. Legendary JUCO coach John Altobelli, his wife Carrie, and their daughter Alyssa were among the victims. Their family confirmed, unfortunately, yesterday as well. Ed Obelli won 4 California community college titles in his 27 years at the school. Also passed away is Christina Mauser, a girls basketball coach at a nearby private elementary school. Mauser's husband, Matt, founded the Tijuana Dogs, a popular Orange County band. In a Facebook post, he said, "My kids and I are devastated. We lost our beautiful wife and mom today in the helicopter crash." Also killed in the crash were Sarah Chester and her daughter Peyton, a middle school student, sources confirmed. Riley Chester, Peyton's brother, posted a tribute to his family on Instagram. "Rest in peace to the most amazing mother and sister. Love you, Pepe, and mom. Rest in peace." The pilot, who has not been identified, was also killed in the crash. There were no survivors. I grew up one of the biggest Kobe fans, especially after Jordan left the game. I became, like a lot of kids that age, just infatuated with what Kobe was doing on the basketball court and the type of symbol he was becoming for the sport. And of course, as his career went on, he did some of the most legendary things I think anyone has ever seen on a basketball court. Most memorably, of course, the 81-point game against the Toronto Raptors in 2009. And yeah, it was, watching Kobe ball, like it was like you were a witness to something great. And the many times we've been to LA, we've kind of found out who runs that city. In the city of icons, moguls, movie stars. You wonder whose city it really is. And as soon as you land in LA, you soon find out that that's a Laker city. And the man who was the face of the Lakers was indeed Kobe Bryant. Magic Johnson called him the greatest Laker of all time, is now gone. And so that guy not only meant a lot to that organization and not only a lot to basketball, but he meant a lot to the city of LA. And he meant a lot to a lot of kids everywhere. He meant a lot to a lot of the guys that are currently in the game. We saw an emotional Trae Young last night, wear number 8 for the Atlanta Hawks. We saw a lot of guys in the NBA last night on the sidelines, visibly emotionally crying. We saw broadcasters on ESPN, CNN, one of Ramona Shelburne, perhaps one of the most respected voices in California sports. Just seeing her frequently break down during the show, and everybody they interviewed on NBA TV. You saw outpouring emotions from guys you usually don't see it from. You saw an emotional statement from Michael Jordan. An emotional statement from Michael Jordan. Like, you don't get that. You saw Kawhi Leonard post-game with the Clippers barely hang on to emotion. You saw Dwayne Wade literally go to his Instagram feed, and he was bawling. You saw LeBron James go off the airplane when the Lakers discovered the news, him bawling. There's the video of LeBron just getting off the plane and consoling members of the Lakers organization and his family. LeBron, the ironic thing, literally 24 hours before that, less than that, 12 hours before the unfortunate crash, LeBron had just passed Kobe Bryant, number 3 on the NBA scoring list. And LeBron, after that game, was doing his normal press conference, and he was going on and on and on about Kobe and what he means to the game, what he meant to him, and what it means to pass him. So it was just so ironic because LeBron was just speaking so glowingly. We all have this past week about Kobe Bryant because of LeBron passing him on the scoring list. So it was just all of his just so surreal because we were just talking about Kobe. We were just sharing the video from a few weeks ago of him on the sideline with his daughter talking about the game of basketball. She was talking about, we just saw a video of Kobe a week ago teasing Luka Doncic in his native language. The guy not only knew the game, but he had become the big brother of the NBA. He had become the guy that would reach out to other NBA talent, especially the new young talent, and they would come up to him and he would embrace that. He had become the new grandfather, if you will, of the NBA. He was willing to take on that role that Bill Russell had, and Bill Russell continues to be around the game. He was willing to step in to recognizing his legend and being of good. He could have been the old guy from, well, back in my day, this is how we hooped. He didn't. He embraced the Trae Youngs and the Lukas, and he embraced this new generation of players. So that's why it was even more harder for a lot of these guys yesterday, Chris, is because they saw him as a big brother. And these guys, I talked about it with my friends yesterday. He birthed, if you will, a lot of these players you currently see in the league that are just blossoming. Guys like Jason Tatum, who, like Kyrie Irving, couldn't play yesterday. Kyrie Irving, huge Kobe. Him and Kobe were really close. Came to Madison Square Garden, got the news, got in his car, went home. Did not come back to play. The league, I think they had a conversation about it, but literally when it happened, unfortunately, it dropped in the middle of the NBA Sunday schedule. So it wasn't, I don't know, from what I understand, I don't know the NBA logistics, so let me not pretend to, but from what I understood, they were just like, it was too far down the road for us to do anything as far as stopping games. But I would imagine the rest of the season will be a complete tribute and honor to Kobe Bryant. And, yeah, man, yesterday, I'll be honest, guys, like, that one hit me. That
It brought you back to Twitter.
It did. That was the moment. I was hurt because I just know the funny thing about Twitter is that there are so many conversations that everyone has, and it's either a debate about politics or debate about basketball, and that generally means the majority of the conversations about who's the best of all time, Jordan, Kobe, LeBron. So Kobe's a frequent topic on Twitter. And so I just knew the place to go to not only get more information as to what was happening, because a lot was happening so fast. I went there to be like, hey, man, this one hit different. That's all I was saying yesterday. Like, this one hits different. I can't explain why I was so emotional. I can't explain why others were. And over the coming weeks and months, and everybody will have their opportunity to say whatever they feel, their piece with Kobe Bryant.
And not to, like, not even to dive into Kobe himself, but look, he's an icon.
Yes.
Like it or not,
Yeah.
he's an icon.
Yes.
And he's part of a childhood.
Yes. Yes.
He's part of your childhood.
Yes.
When part of your childhood dies,
Yes.
that hurts.
Yes.
No matter what surrounds the person, no matter what else surrounds them, you can't get past the fact that that person is a significant part of why you enjoyed growing up.
Right.
And when you lose that, it hurts. That's why you're hurting.
Right.
I'm a theory, at least.
No.
Because,
yeah.
when and someone who was elevated in a way, and that's how you become an icon, right?
Right.
You become elevated in status.
Right.
You're in Los Angeles. You played for the Lakers.
Yeah.
You won multiple titles.
Right.
Like, on the court stuff, we can see, like, why you are what you are, why you are thought of that way, because that's how we do it, number one.
Right.
And when you're a part of someone's childhood and you lose your you're like, it's striking how it can hurt you. And you don't necessarily understand it or get it right away, because it is a thing. It's just, and I wouldn't even say it's, because I've had that happen to me before. It's more empty
Right.
than anything. You're trying to, because look, it's weird to say.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant is dead.
Right.
Isn't that just weird to think and process?
It is.
He's 41 years old.
The idea of losing Kobe just never entered my mind. Like, the idea.
No.
Like, every time we saw him and his daughter, you're just gonna be like, this is gonna be fun to watch. Kobe turn into that old man that cheers on his beautiful daughters from the sideline as they make their way up the ranks in women's basketball. You were just looking forward to watching Kobe be an old man. You were looking forward to Kobe being an influence on the next generation of basketball player. We were seeing it. We saw here locally, even with our very own Jason Tatum of the Boston Celtics last summer, taking the time out to work out in the offseason with Kobe Bryant. That's what Kobe wanted to do. He truly threw himself back in the game. And I think that was the biggest irony because Kobe was the kind of competitor that's just like, it's me, give me the ball, I'm going to win. And so as his career came to a close, Kobe became this guy that was open to telling everybody his moves, how to do this, how to do that. Like the guy became a counselor, became a Jedi in the sense that he was like, I'm happy to pass down now all my knowledge. I am at a spot in my life where I'm okay with myself. Like, and this was crazy to a lot of fans, but something a lot of fans wanted because Kobe was just such a brooding superstar where he just kept to himself because he had to win. And so when he began to open up, that's when everybody was like, man, this guy is a basketball genius. His IQ is just out of this world and his love for the sport. So you got to see that. And so that's why we were like anxious to see, man, this is going to be fun. Kobe's going to run a basketball team one day. He's going to run a program like the Mannings run a passing camp. You just saw like his future. You just knew like Jordan, like the Kobe brand was going to grow just the same way Jordan did after he left the game.
That's something here too for me, and because when you start thinking of what could have been,
Right.
That's what a lot of the discussion will be around. Like we were looking forward to this.
Right.
What was this going to be like? What this could have been.
Right.
And it's not just Kobe centric here, but I get the feeling like over the years, like what could have been has changed for athletes when they retire. Remember we used to ask the question, or you would hear even ex-players talk about it, about how difficult it was to retire. Because, like, what do you do then? You're known for this, you're that. Even significant athletes. But the world has changed in a way where the business aspect of it, players have really embraced that in a lot of different sports.
Yes, they have.
So it's not just you weren't worried. You're not as much worried about what people are doing when they retire because they have interest. They've they've found a way to make
that transition.
Yeah, the transition a lot easier now, and that's why when someone retires, you're like, oh, okay, this is over. But you also now start looking forward to what they have to offer besides just whatever they did on the field, on the court, or whatever it might have been. So that's part of why I think the conversation around Kobe will be a lot and weigh on you a lot. That's what I think the point I want to make. It will weigh on you a lot more when discussing what could have been, what might have been post-career, as he had whatever time you thought left. Obviously, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of lessons to be learned, and
that's the thing. I don't think
it's
it's a really gut-wrenching tragedy. Yeah, and it's just and I think I wish the type of pain that the ones left behind are going through today, and for Kobe's family, like you bury a father and a husband, and you have to bury now your sister and daughter as well along with that, and I can't imagine what that family's going through. Like I said, I returned to Twitter because it happened so fast. I started getting TMZ alerts, and people were sending me text, and I was all but certain that it was a hack.
The first I saw, I was sitting in my local watering hole, chatting with one of my dream team members. Had another friend sitting at a table next to me, and he said he had just gotten text from someone saying that Kobe had died in the helicopter crash. I'm like, I thought there was some weird sick joke.
Me too.
That friends will play on friends.
I'd not even be
and
funny.
Then I hopped on Twitter right away, and the first tweet I see is Chris's quote tweeting the TMZ report saying, I'm paraphrasing Chris's tweet, but it was just, are there any other outlets reporting this? And I was like, so the first thing I did was click on the TMZ one. Then I clicked on the TMZ thing itself to make sure it was the actual TMZ account and not someone that had been able to create a replica in some way. And I'm like, oh, there's millions of followers here. And I'm like, okay. And that's when it was just like, all right, now, let's wait. Let's just still
Yeah,
wait.
yeah.
But then when something, and you're going to hear some criticism of media outlets today as well.
Yeah, definitely. TMZ is going to hear about it today as well.
TMZ some, ABC some.
Yeah, AMC definitely. ABC's definitely gonna get a little bit. They should get a spanking. I saw that take place live when the gentleman made that error. Because I think a lot of viewers had the same reaction I had. Was wait, what?
Yeah.
There was a moment during the ABC broadcast when they were officially confirming that it was Kobe on the helicopter. The gentleman who stepped in that was being interviewed from the LA area asserted that Kobe's entire family was on board. All his 4 daughters were aboard,
Yeah.
which clearly had not been confirmed
And then the TMZ thing will be, they went with the story
before notifications could be made
yeah,
to the family.
and look, I was
That's according to the sheriff's.
yeah,
According to the sheriff's department, yes, sir.
and I've been involved in a situation like that, and I still don't know necessarily where it stood whenever information was disseminated. It was with the Daryl Kyle death
Yeah.
here with the Cardinals,
Yeah,
where I put the person reporting on it called me from Chicago, said put me on the pregame show now. We have this breaking news. I asked my news guy, I said, what do we do? He's like, well, we'll put them on, and we put it out there. And the broadcast kept delaying and delaying. If you remember that day,
Yeah, I do.
And I don't know that it was necessarily that they hadn't been informed yet, but there was just other stuff going on as well. I actually don't know
right.
the timeline of it. I do know I got an earful afterwards, and the other person got an earful afterwards too.
Yeah,
And it was, so I've been there.
yeah.
I regret not
All right.
pushing forward a little more. Of course, I don't know. I think I was only just over 6 months into my career at that point.
Right.
So I was, as a novice, learning very quickly how you can fuck things up.
Right. Yeah, I mean, and look, the days to come, I don't want to me personally make it about TMZ or the media coverage surrounding it, because at the end of the day, there's going to be a time and place for all of that discussion, and we can definitely have it. And I think it's rightful to have one, because I think this can be an important, a very important teaching lesson going forward as far as disseminating information. But for right now, I think we're just right now just dealing with the heartbreak of losing all that life yesterday. It was a lot of life. It's truly a heartbreaking day for a lot of families. And just knowing just from the Kobe standpoint, what he meant to the game and what he meant to me and others. Like yesterday, like I said, just hit different. I didn't expect for it to hit me like it did. It was.
Yeah, you don't get to decide that, do you?
Yeah, no, you don't. And there's nothing really to prepare you for any of that. And it really shook my. It took me off my, like, you know how you go into a day with a plan and things to do, and
Yeah.
that's exactly what was happening. I was going through my day, and I was like, all right, we got this on track. We're gonna have this day get set for Monday, and then that happens. And it just jolts you out of your routine. It jolts you out of your
I think with
mindset.
this
It just blew you. Wow, it blew me down. Like, I don't remember being that clearly distracted like since. And I'm not trying to minimize or maximize a situation, but I hadn't felt like, whoa, like, let me sit down type of news since 9/11.
Yeah.
That was like the first time where I was just like, whoa. Okay, I can't get on the road right now. I can't leave the house right now. I have to sit down, and this has to process. Like, I don't recall something being like that before. So that's why I guess it was just really a...
Well, and it's weird, too,
yeah.
when you take a broader look at things and say, like, how can someone's death of someone you don't know
Right.
impact you in a way?
Right.
And I think part of it I brought up to you, which is like, hey, this is your childhood. Part of your childhood passes away. So, a little bit of you goes with
Right.
that, too, right? But it's also, too, like, with celebrities in particular, especially people you don't know, but you feel like you got to know.
Yeah.
But what it can also trigger, I think, is it can start making it a little more. You might not even be focusing on that person, but it can make you think about other people that you have lost,
Right,
even too.
right.
So there's a number of ways that it can attack you, and you're looking to process and digest and figure it. I mean, there's no answer.
Right.
You just here's what's thrown at you, and How do you slowly take it in and figure it all out?
I,
And that's why people are like, well, how can this impact you? I'm like, you don't necessarily get to decide that, or
right.
that you have to kind of step back and take a look at it for a minute because it does happen.
Right.
So if it does happen, why does it happen? You
Yeah.
can't just say to someone, oh, it shouldn't do this. Well, it is.
It is, and that's
So
what it was.
then what do you
yesterday.
do?
Hey, that's what it
So
was yesterday. I
so
was
don't
just like,
tell me how I should be.
Right.
Tell me how I get past this.
Right,
Okay.
because that's how it was yesterday. I was just like, I know I'm supposed to be doing things, but like emotionally, I was just like, I can't conjure up a way to behave a particular way right now because all I can think about is sorrow. And look, Chris and I, we joked about it, but you
Yeah.
know, there's this natural fear. We were in a helicopter in Honduras, and I'll be honest, like that was my first ever helicopter ride, and I there were moments
it?
where during that it was exciting and thrilling. At the same time, I'm just like, I don't want to.
We
This
were
is
in
not
one
why.
for like 5 days too. So
Yeah, we frequently
lot.
were in one, and we were in a not to minimize or maximize in a third world country. So if something were to go wrong, it's statistically likely to go wrong there, and so you're just like, the anxiety that comes along with that. So I keep putting myself in that position, and like I said, Kobe and his family travel via helicopter pretty frequently, and so I would imagine this was no different than like getting in a Uber for them and just driving to the park. And I can't imagine that. I did that, and then being there with your daughter in that moment, and it's just the tragedy and the sadness and the sorrow that comes along with it. You try to be the button-up guy and try to stay focused with your life and keep it moving. But as you saw again yesterday, you saw trained professionals who've been doing this for years. I saw Michael Wilbon. I saw Kenny Mayne. I watched a lot of people who we know just are stoic statesmen when they're in front of a camera, no matter what, break down. And that for me was even like I have so much respect for Ramona Shelburne because not only being a woman and covering such a male-dominated sport, but doing it so well where she's considered one of the most respected voices. And every time you saw her, you knew you were going to get the real deal as far as what's going on with the Lakers, what's going on in the NBA. She's such a respected voice. And so to even see her, because you associate even her and her covering the Lakers with Kobe and everybody. So you understand how difficult that is going to be for him. Guys like Bill Plaschke, who wrote a column in the LA Times that was just as heartbreaking as it gets. It's just weird. It's just something that a lot of people, like Gardner said, you can't prepare for this. It was just yesterday was a very tough day, and it's gonna be a tough day to come. Ironically enough, the Lakers return home after their Grammy road trip on Tuesday to play the Clippers. How that's going to be? Oh my! I can't even imagine what Staples is going to be like on Tuesday night. Wow. How they're going to play a game, good luck. Because that stadium's going to be broken. Yeah, I don't know. It would be the equivalent of New York and the Yankees losing to Jeter, Chicago losing Jordan. Like today, like a major American city is just, and like the rest of the world, is just mourning. It's going to be surreal, especially in that city.
I think you hit it right there. It was like it would be like the Yankees or like Jeter going.
Yeah.
Because there's someone too. If you're looking for something a little bit of a parallel, whose post career was also
Very close. Yes. Same guy. Basically, Jeter and Kobe were almost in many respects the same guy. Guys you knew
from a
because
generation.
From a generation,
you
yes.
could see it turning.
And you knew as good as they were as far as being marketing of themselves, how they branded themselves as athletes. You just knew, man, these guys are so talented that when they're even done with the game, their brand, their legacy, who they are, what they stand for is going to continue to carry on and be a part of the next generation. I think that's the thing that's really jolting because a lot of people our age look to guys like Kobe. Like, all right, you're going to be the next generation of voices. You're going to be the guy that can talk about a lot of things that's important to a lot of men, a lot of black men, but a lot of athletes in general.
And you know, and this is why post careers are important
Yes.
to me because it used to be the conversation. You would hear this. Oh, you got to get out. Got to get out of the neighborhood. Got to. And the only way to do that is through basketball and stuff like that,
Right.
right? And then it was, what do you do when you're done with the game? Are you going to end up back there? What's going to happen to you after you're done playing basketball? What else do you have? You're showing away that it's not just what you do on the court, basketball wise, but you can also take that and turn it into entrepreneurship.
Right.
Like, so it even made it, the message is being sent that it's not just about what you get done on the court. It's like, you don't have to worry about that after. There's other opportunities. There are things to be done
Yeah.
with your life after that,
Right.
where you can send that message to kids now, and that's big. It's
Right.
it's not just that, and that. So I think when we were discussing there, but Jeter and Kobe coming along
Right.
at the times they did as well, have shown that,
Right.
or did Kobe did, and Jeter's continuing to, it seems.
And you saw the impact he had internationally too, Chris. You saw Neymar yesterday after scoring a goal, salute Kobe. We saw Ronaldo salute Kobe. We saw both presidents. You saw Barack Obama and Donald Trump salute
That
Kobe.
was
Like,
confusing.
yeah, excuse me. I mean,
No, I mean,
I
just-
phrased that terribly.
no,
Excuse me. But we saw everybody from every walk of life have something to say. Now, I haven't seen anything from LeBron tweet anything yet. I think he's maybe the only one of the major basketball quote unquote notables that I haven't physically heard from. Now, I imagine we may hear something from here today, especially being the quote unquote face, if you will, of the Los Angeles Lakers.
There's no hot taking issue with him as of yet.
Yeah, right. I don't. Yeah, I think today is, and I could be wrong, but I think even today is a day where even the Whitlocks and the Clay Travises of the world, even I think, will take 24 hours to show respect to Kobe's legacy, and I think it should be that way. I don't know. I think as far as transcending, we saw even yesterday some of the Oregon women's basketball players, a lot of them who looked up to Kobe. Kobe, again, was a huge fan of basketball, Chris. Not, it was just, I think the beauty of Kobe having daughters is that Kobe even acknowledged himself. He's like, I pay now more attention to the women's game, and there are some real ballers. Like
It was Brandon McCarthy, former major league pitcher, that had a tweet about that.
Really?
He pitched in LA. He's like, it seemed like his impact was going to be more so
in
in
women's.
the women's
It
game
was.
because of his daughters and stuff like that.
And-
That's where, if there was going to be growth, it might not. NBA was going to be the NBA or whatever. It still had LeBron, but the impact someone like him could have had on the women's game.
Can you imagine Kobe maybe even being like a commissioner one day of the WNBA? Like he loved the game so much, and even as he had daughters, he talked about it on Kimmel about how people would come up to him like, "Man, you got to have a son who's going to carry the legacy." And his daughter Gigi, he was like, "Oh, Gigi, she steps in every time and says, 'I got this.'" And then every time he had talked in an interview, he would talk always about his daughters. And so that's the thing. I think that's going to be a little bit more difficult for a lot of us today, certainly. And then, if you're a praying type of person, you send your prayers out to their families. And if anything, certainly send your thoughts, because I don't think there's a person in their right mind in the world who would not grieve and sympathize with what Vanessa Bryant is going through today. I don't think. I just don't know a person who wouldn't want to take that grief away from her today.
And those kids.
And those kids. It's he's got an older daughter who's now lost his sister and dad, and now she has to kind of play the role of consoling mom and the younger siblings, and they're gonna definitely, as you would hope and think, will be surrounded by family. I know there are reports, and I don't even mean to speculate, but I know there are reports in the past that Kobe and his parents weren't always on the same page in his latter part of his career. I don't know if that's been reconciled. Imagine we may see a little bit of them. They were very private people for the most part.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll hear something from Kobe's famous father. Kobe's father, of course, played in the league, played in the international basketball scene. And I think that's what also makes the story even more impactful, but how global Kobe was. Of course, he spoke multiple languages: Spanish, Italian, Latvia. Like the guy just. He loved talking basketball and didn't care what language was in. And we saw that, as we mentioned, Chris had mentioned about the Academy Awards. He wanted to talk about basketball through film and animation, starting a studio, starting a company where he produced that content. The Mamba Academy. I didn't realize that's where he was heading. That's crazy. Like the guy just, you can tell his impact. This one's gonna hurt. Yeah, I don't know how people felt like after Roberto Clemente.
It's about the only comparable
yeah,
one we
that's
can think
bad.
of.
And Clemente was playing.
And
still.
Clemente was still playing. And of course, we remember here in St. Louis, Daryl Kyle hitting hard. So we know the impact that losing an athlete can have on a community. And then we're losing Stan the Man and Daryl Kyle in a matter of weeks between each other.
5
That,
days.
5 days. That completely gut wrenched the city. Like this city was this was
Might
a
have been
zombie.
4 days.
It was
It was a
it was a
Tuesday and
very.
a
I
Saturday.
feel like it was all in 1 week or
So
within a
June
week span.
18th for Jack, and I think whatever that Saturday, however many days after that.
Jack and yeah, that's
But it's different when you're young too, right?
yeah. And that's the thing, man. Like that's
Even with like movie stars and such, when you die young, it's treated differently.
as far as the NBA is concerned, it looks like they're still moving forward with games. We do not have an official word as to the cause of the accident. From what we've just been reported so far, and again through TMZ, is that the helicopter was going through ascension. I guess it was climbing before it began to nosedive.
Oh, way to go with that word.
So yeah.
Did you just go ascension and then
Actually,
go?
yeah, it was climbing.
For you idiots, it's climbing. You did that to us, you asshole.
I just was.
Yeah, don't try that on us.
Mark Cuban doing something that I'm curious is probably going to be a thing for NBA going forward. No Maverick will ever wear 24 or 8. And Adam Schefter quote tweeted saying maybe this is something the league should consider. Period. Look, I know there are going to be other conversations coming in the days ahead because I just know how media works in 2020 and I know how people work in 2020. So I know there are conversations about Colorado that are going to come up, and they should.
Yeah.
And I give credit to the people who talked about it yesterday. No one glossed over it. No one tried to sugarcoat at least. I mean, when I say sugarcoat it, no one tried to pretend it didn't happen during the eulogy. I saw several videos acknowledging the sexual assault, and so I would imagine that conversation is going to come up in the coming days on how to eulogize and how to look at the overall Kobe Bryant legacy, because you have to look at everything in its totality. And I think those days will come, and we can have that conversation in the future. I personally would prefer after maybe we lay these folks to rest before we have that conversation. I don't think there's a sense of urgency to have it right now, but I understand why we're going to.
Yeah,
I get it.
And I
I'm
will
not
say this
naive
too.
to that.
I also understand why, and like I said, with you don't get to decide how certain things impact you, and
Right.
might surprise you like that. I'm not going to. In my mind, I had decided if asked about that, I would just say, my concern would be with Vanessa and her
Right,
children right
right.
now. I also understand, I do, how some people can't get past that,
Yes.
and that's what they see.
Yes.
And so, I'm not going to go there yet.
Yes.
But I do understand why some people do
Yes.
and don't get past that,
I
because
agree.
that is their perspective and what they see. And I don't know their past or history, and something that might allow them, or that kind of focuses them in on that too.
Right.
So it's just something personally. I would just step back away from at this point
Right.
and just say, hey, let's let the family do this. The conversation, and like you said, rightfully can be had and should be had. I do agree with that.
Yeah, and I think if you truly want to get a snapshot of a guy's impact, just look at the people who are talking about him and the walks of life they come from. And again, I think more than anything, Chris, for me, and I'm sorry for bogarting this conversation. It's just, man, Kobe was really Like he was symbolic in many ways. But I think the thing again that was
Well,
impactful
who else
for
is
me.
going to do this talking, Travis? Especially if we're stereotyping
Yeah,
here.
that's also very true. Who else would have thought?
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think
Because
even
I was not an NBA guy.
no,
I've always been a college hoops guy.
Right.
That's been me. And I'm a casual NBA viewer, watcher, whatever.
right.
I'm not. I know your love for the NBA. So there's there's other reasons why it impacts you in a certain way.
Yeah. And I think even just seeing the stoic, normally quiet voices. Like again, I didn't like to see the outpouring emotion from guys like Kareem and Jordan. Like Jordan is notorious for not showing any type of feelings towards anything. Jordan's, I think the reasons why Kobe became the killer competitor that he is because of Michael Jordan. And even Michael Jordan, we finally, and here's another ironic thing. Like over this past weekend, the NBA was in Paris for the first time, so they were having NBA games in Paris. So the Milwaukee Bucks were taking on the Charlotte Hornets. So who, of course, is going to be the international voice in the NBA? While in Paris is Michael Jordan, of all people. Michael Jordan was doing a press conference, and he was talking about the past. He was talking about the Kobes and the LeBrons, and so it was just such a weird weekend in that, like how reflective Jordan and LeBron were of Kobe before his passing. Mm-hmm. Two guys who generally keep it tight. They keep it about the team, about themselves. And to hear Jordan and these voices, you're so used to just being, man, that's just how the game is. These tight, stoic voices go, Jordan, Kobe was a little brother to me. Like, what? Like, okay. That's staggering. And just to see LeBron hear what he said in a press conference and get off that airplane and just, man, I can't imagine all the young kids everywhere. Like,
even like Shaquille O'Neal's kids.
Shaq's kids. Oh, no, that was that one broke me, Gardner.
Yeah, Sharif was
texted with Kobe that morning.
Yeah.
He was texting with Kobe and he was just checking in on him. That one tough. I didn't realize Kobe and Shaq actually just recently did a sit down some months ago with NBA TV, and they talked about their time together, winning championships, and there was an opportunity for them to open up. And it was a very good story about how when they won the co-MVPs of the NBA All-Star game, and Kobe turned to Shaq and was like, "Oh man, you take this trophy. This is for you. You mean so much to the game." And Shaq was like, "I didn't expect that from you, Kobe. I didn't."
Do your Shaq here again?
I did not expect that from you, Kobe. I didn't think Kobe's going to be able to do that.
It's like he's right here.
Yeah.
But it was funny because Kobe was like, from that, like that meant so much.
Kazam or Shazam? Which one was it?
Kazoosh. Oh, that's a Shazam.
Kazam.
Kazam? Which Shazam? Shazam was Sinbad?
Shazam is now a movie, but at the time it was what we thought one with Sinbad.
Oh no, it was one.
But it was interesting because those two, who were rivals at one point, playing on the same team, after all of that, became the closest of friends. How close? Where they referred to each other's kids as nieces and nephews. Gianna was Shaq's niece. Sharif and Shaq's boys, those are Kobe's nephews. And as you saw, Kobe and Sharif just talked whenever. And probably one of the last few messages, one of the last people probably Kobe talked to was with Shaq's son. And you saw the outpouring emotion from his family yesterday. It's surreal. It's really one of those moments where, it knocks you off your feet. And his friends were talking about yesterday, you lose some greats, and it's, again, like to Gardner, you hit a nail on the head. Like when you have it so much part of your childhood. That's all I thought about. I thought about the moments where I was where I was when I was watching Kobe.
And I haven't had that happen to me with anyone. And it's rare, right, for this to happen to someone like at this age,
right,
of this significance to their respective sport. So to properly digest and figure all that out, I don't know the answer to that. And it's not going to impact me the way it impacts you.
Yeah.
I mean, I was sitting there thinking yesterday, and this is why, because maybe this is how I think too. I'm like, all right, what's the date today? January 27th. I'm thinking, is ESPN gonna have a 30 for 30 out before the end of the year on Kobe? Like, are they gonna
Man, they're gonna have some type of tribute. They're gonna be tributes.
because
I think.
there are steps here to tell the story of someone's life, and a complicated life at that.
Yeah.
Um, that I don't know how long it takes to put something like that together, but it's definitely going to be intriguing to folks.
His impact was real, and I think you saw that last night, even in New York, Chris. We mentioned, of course, Kyrie Irving showing up, then leaving. But even Mike Breen, who calls the Knicks games, literally said, "Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't feel like broadcasting tonight. I'm gonna do it, but sorry if this is
I saw
terrible."
Travis Ford got a little choked up.
Yeah, he
Talking
saw a
about-
lot of coaches. He saw Doc Rivers, of course, an emotional Austin Rivers on the sideline for the Rockets yesterday. This one hits different. Spike was emotional. New York fans, but that just shows the impact. Here's a Laker guy, Chris, who would come to New York and just terrorize the Knicks. Terrorize the Knicks. The guy would come into Madison Square, put up 40 easily because it was the Mecca. And New York fans loved him for him. The man came to the Rucker, Chris. The Rucker. Street ball. The like no NBA legend. Like that's some old school 70s, 80s shit where you hear about an NBA legend going to a street ball court in New York to ball. Kobe balled and hit a buzzer beater. The man was literally
Hey,
a street.
Sebastian Telfair used to play there.
That's very true.
There's a name for
There
you.
it is, yeah. But he was a legend in every sense of the word, Chris. Like the guy would go to he wasn't afraid to play street ball. Kobe would go anywhere in the world
I played
and
street
bust
ball.
your ass. That was the greatest thing about Kobe. Kobe didn't care if it was Obama, if it was the Dream Team, if it was college or high school kids. If you were on a basketball court with Kobe Bryant, he was gonna bust your ass. And
That
I
seems
think
rude.
that's what made him who he. And I think that's why. And remember, Kobe had to win over. You gotta understand, Kobe had to win over a lot of fans. Remember, him and Shaq bust heads. And you got to remember, he was doing everything he could to mimic his game after Jordan. And a lot of Jordan and NBA purists didn't care for it. But that kid worked. And he worked. And he became a great. Like, you couldn't deny him anymore. And anybody who's left the game in the last 5 to 10 years has a Kobe Bryant story. And I think Allen Iverson, who a lot of people just one of the best just modern day ballers. Allen Iverson said, "Y'all don't understand. Kobe Bryant will bust your ass." So when guys like Allen Iverson go out there and LeBron James go out there and Dwayne Wade go, "No, you don't understand. Kobe would busted our ass." Like you knew, like he earned a generation of respect. That doesn't happen in the sport. It's still people who say Sid the Kid. There's still a lot of NHL purists who look at him funny. Like they're just like Kobe was the kind of athlete where he had to earn it, and he did, and we respected him for it. And it's going to be surreal to know that he's gone because he was kind of one of those personalities you just thought was just going to always be around.
Now do this right here.
Okay.
That's your transition thing normally. There you go. Yeah. Chris?
I have a strange. When I think of him, obviously he's one of the greatest to ever do it. Blah blah blah, everything crazy. He's this massive, giant star. I always think of because I was really into the basketball and the NBA draft, so I watched every draft from the time I can remember that was televised, whatever else. I remember whenever, and just knowing about this, it being 11, 12 years old when he got drafted, and he gets traded. And I'm like, oh man, Lakers traded Vlade Divac to the Hornets for this high school kid? Like, what's going on? That was one of the stranger things because he was going to L.A. Like, it was going to happen. Like, he wasn't going to –
Jerry
he
West.
wasn't going to – the Charlotte Hornets never thought for a second that they were going to have Kobe Bryant on their team, even though they weren't really sure what he would be. Some people, going out on a limb saying, oh, this guy's going to be great. But, everybody said a lot of people were going to be great coming out of high school. That is what I think of. And then this is really strange. There's a guy by the name of Chris Carr. He's from Arcadia Valley, Ironton, Missouri. Played for the Phoenix Suns, the Timberwolves. I used to go to his basketball camps as a kid because he was come back. Farmington's like 20 minutes
Guard?
from Arcadia Valley. He was shooting guard, SIU Carbondale, and he played in the NBA. And he's a guy who like had the best year he ever had was like maybe averaging 10 points a game. Right? He's
Right.
like a bench guy, but
I think he was my backup guard on one of the NBA games I played.
probably so. But he made it to the finals of the dunk contest in 1997. Great, I don't know, it's like a 360 or something like that. And he loses to Kobe Bryant. And in the grand scheme of things, it meant nothing to Kobe Bryant. It was cool because he was a high school kid at the time. But if Chris Carr wins that dunk contest, that's a big feather in a cap, in a journeyman's cap like that. So I have two really strange, obscure things I think of whenever I think of Kobe Bryant. I'm like, yeah, man, he beat out Chris Carr. I can't imagine being Chris Carr and having a 18-year-old beat you in the finals of a dunk contest. Yeah, and it was still whenever like you would do the dunk contest and not necessarily even be in the All-Star game.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, this guy can dunk well. So I don't know. Surreal all around. It's crazy, and we'll be feeling the aftermath for a very long time.
Yeah, I can't imagine what the, like I said, a city like LA is going through today. Like, and that's a city that's, like major cities, like most major cities, there's another next big thing that you have to worry about. But I think with LA, short of there being an earthquake, this is probably going to be the biggest story for that city for quite some time. I think this is all but, I mean, it obviously overshadowed a lot of the Grammys last night. I wouldn't be surprised if it leaked over into the Academy Awards, especially since Kobe recently won. But what he meant to that city, like as someone, I saw an LA native essentially say, an LA comedian go, look, when I got out here, I knew right away what the pecking order was. Yeah, you can be Brad Pitt and Robert Downey Jr., but they still aren't the biggest stars in this city than anybody who plays for the Lakers. And if you're Kobe Bryant, it doesn't get bigger than that. So that entire city, which is filled with a lot of important people, if you will, they're going to even have to stop this week and just honor a legacy to a guy like Kobe Bryant.
Absolutely. We'll take a quick break. It's Chris Demon, Travis Terrell, Chris Gardner. Be right back. Welcome back to the show, Chris Emmett, Travis Terrell. It's We Are live from Midcoast Studio in Grand Center. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel right now. Don't wait. Do it now. Talked a lot about the passing of Kobe Bryant last hour. Mentioned our friend Yale's write-up in St. Louis Magazine is off and running. We didn't get a chance to talk All-Star Game festivities. The three of us, not the best case studies. I don't think we hung out around NHL All-Star Game festivities, though they looked wonderful. You had Green Day perform for free outside the Enterprise
Did
Center.
they drop a few F-bombs? Word on the street is they dropped a few
They
F-bombs.
said some F-bombs. They didn't get the note that you can't do that on television. Remember that show? Green Day brings the heat. The skills competition, the veterans or the skills competition did well. Everybody looked like they had a really good time. I will, however, say it did feel like it wasn't as big as it could have been, and I don't know if that's just how the NHL does it, but a great event overall from what I've read from everybody who attended and enjoyed themselves.
Yeah, apparently they had rather large crowds.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't around it. So
Yeah, I don't. I saw people posting some cool pictures and stuff,
Yeah.
but yeah, it didn't feel like the buildup was. I don't. Maybe it's all perception, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I would say
saying that it wasn't something. I think.
I
It would
mean,
be
I
very,
mean,
it would be wrong.
I think it looked like a lot of people were about town over the weekend, and it looked like the usual spots in the downtown area were very, very packed. I heard that the aquarium just simply they had wait lines after wait lines. So just based on just some of the things I saw, like you on IG and some postings on Twitter, it appeared that everyone had a great time. It appeared that all the events went off without a hitch. Or the skills night was very popular with a lot of folks here. They had a lot of fun with that, especially having a chance to show some love to Jordan Bennington's performance. But I
Yeah,
think
and
all
then,
in all,
I think
and was it Hurdle from San Jose?
Yeah,
Put
Tomas
on
Hurdle.
put on the Justin Bieber mask and trying to score on Bennington. It looked like it was a great night for the sport in the city of St. Louis.
Matthew Tkachuk wearing the Yachty jersey.
Gotta love it.
That's crazy. You got Keith Kachuk, obviously played here. The kids grew up here. You have two Kachuk brothers playing in the All-Star game in
In
St.
St.
Louis. That's a
Louis.
cool moment.
That is a very cool moment. It was a cool moment, I think, for the city of St. Louis. St. Louis celebrities got involved. John Hamm, Jenna Fisher, involved in the festivity. Layla, involved in the festivities as well. It was well done. And then Wayne Gretzky showing love, acting as the announcer, the host, as the skills competition kicked off. A guy who keeps a space here, of course, here in St. Louis area. And he embraces the city, calling it one of the greatest cities in the world during his announcement. Hopefully that got all the St. Louis folks who get very defensive about their city excited and out of their seats.
Some pandering.
And a little pandering there. But look, from what I saw, it looks like everybody had a good
I would have
time.
asked.
and-
I would have asked the great one. Well, where does it fall in your ranking? That's what my follow-up would have been.
Canados? Is Canados still on the hill? No, that'd have been great if you had said that.
What's your power ranking of cities in the world?
That's pretty good. That'd have been good.
In the world, huh?
Yeah,
But
that's what he's saying.
I think for me, though, I knew the event was a success, that no one attempted to rob or steal any gear from the NHL trucks that were outside of Enterprise. So I think that's a win. So it looks like everybody
It
got
would
to
have been
leave.
fitting if somebody stole Green Day's equipment.
That would have been.
That's the norm here.
So guys, somebody stole Green Day's gear. But
Or OARs when
yeah.
they were here on Friday.
Oh, they were here. That's right. I, on the other hand, this weekend did not get a chance to participate in the hockey festivities, but I did leave the
Oh,
house,
shocker.
and I did involve myself in some hippity hop and some rappity rap,
What?
and I checked out the Young Jeezy concert at the pageant.
I don't know what that means.
Young Jeezy, rapper. Akon and Young Jeezy, trying to take things easy.
Oh,
Keep
Young
going.
Jeezy?
Maybe I'll figure it out.
Oh, no, you won't.
Is Chris Brown there?
He was not present. I enjoy a good old-fashioned rap concert. I miss those things. They're like the night. It reminded
Weird to hear
me.
you say a good old-fashioned rap concert.
It's one of those concerts. Here's why I like Young Jeezy, because his music is incredibly popular, so it brings out people from all walks.
Do you sit at a rap concert or do you stand?
No, you mostly stand.
Okay.
For the most part, you stand. But the pageant's
Do you
kind
rap
of
to yourself and walk?
yeah,
Everybody
you
walks
do. Yeah,
around?
everybody does that actually.
Okay,
Everybody, and that's what I like about a good old fashioned rap concert where people get to rap along with the lyrics. They rap with each other.
At least you're doing it there, not on the street, and I can't tell if you're talking to me or not.
Right.
And then the beauty is, and this is America right here, when the artist can come out and say, "Hey man,
He
I
said,
can
"Hey,
see
man."
too many faces in here. Y'all need to start lighting them blunts up." And the crowd all looks at each other and goes, "He is correct. We shall light these blunts up." And everyone does it.
Were you part of that crowd?
I will not confirm or deny, but I will confirm. I was.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, what?
No. Boy, was
And they didn't kick you out?
No.
I got kicked out of the pageant once.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I think
less
they're a
than
little
that.
bit. I think they're mildly lax. Yeah.
All I did was end up in a fashion show I wasn't supposed to be in.
I think at the end of the day, you did. Oh, you did. The pageant's great, and it was great to be at the pageant again and literally turning to my friends and going, "I performed here once."
Oh.
There you go.
No, you know how dope that is. You know how dope that is. You can just go, "Hey,
I know my way around back there.
I know the green room.
Do you?
It's probably not big enough for Jeezy. It was barely big enough for me."
You know that green room? What'd you do in that green room? Did you light up a blunt?
No comment.
What do you mean no comment?
No
Did you
comment.
light up a blunt in the
No
green
comment.
room?
Young Jeezy, thank you for coming out to St. Louis. Really appreciate that. Shout out to Young Jeezy.
Think he's
You wanna-
streaming?
You want to get to that?
Just to say, just thank you, Young Jeezy, for coming to St. Louis. I like when rappers come to St. Louis. They really enjoy St. Louis. I like St. Louis loves that. There it is. There's that green room. That's what it does. See what it does to you?
I know.
Trying to take things easy.
I know people will be excited for the Bacchanalian Ball. You know what the theme is? Travis Hollywood Nights.
Yeah.
Pretty exciting. This Saturday, 7 o'clock. Travis and I hosting. Gonna be a hell of a time.
What's
Come out.
Hollywood Nights? Do we know in
That's
particular?
the theme. It's the theme. Dress up like you're on the red carpet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
Because
right.
it's just I get like the Arabian Nights thing in my head, and I'm like, are you crossing like Hollywood and Arabian
Should I
Nights? or
dress up as Arabian Nights?
what? Do they have like an Arabian Nights black tie?
Prime Minister of the America's Hat did it once.
Oh,
Specialty cocktails by, excuse me, by our friends at STL Barkeep. We've got Bud Light Seltzer, Golden Road Brewing products, unlimited food provided by Salt and Smoke, Bogarts and Sugar Fire, DJ Moff's
wow.
gonna be there, and that's get your tickets. That's all inclusive. To the Bud Light Party Center in Soulard Market Park. Again, get tickets online. If you want to drop me a line for a discount, I've got $10 off tickets. So let us know that you're going to come hang out, have some fun. Putting the link to tickets in the comments now as well. So we'll see you this Saturday in Soulard.
Did you guys see that? Was it Thursday? I guess maybe the medical marijuana dispensaries were named in the state of Missouri.
I saw you posting some things about it, and then you retracted some
yeah, I
things
had to delete
about
a
it.
tweet because I had the
break
wrong
this down
information.
for us,
I,
yeah.
I looked at it wrong because the list came out, and I'm like, okay, let me go through this. And I initially had said there were 7 in my zip code. There were 7 that applied in my zip code.
Got it. Okay.
Only 1 was granted. There were 2 near the White Castle over on Del Mar and Kings Highway, and I was like, okay, well, that makes sense.
Would have worked.
Good business model. And then I looked closer and realized, okay, that was wrong. But the one that was approved, I was looking at the address, and I had to look at it 3 different ways.
Right.
Because I'm like, okay, 20 South Euclid, 20 South, and I look it up. I'm like, okay, that can't be right. Let me look here. Okay, no, that's it. Did it a 3rd time. It's currently Tom's Bar and Grill. So now there's some neighborhood gossip going on, and what's going on over there?
That bar has been there a while.
Yeah.
And it seems to do pretty well with, the hospital and students and whoever.
Yeah.
So that's where it's at, huh?
Well,
Like-
that's what it seems like. They actually have a parking lot at that place too, which
Oh, they could do new construction.
Well,
or
I didn't
something.
know if I don't know all the details yet, so we're
Mhm.
trying to figure that out. I know Leon watches the parking lot for him over at Tom's Bar and Grill, so I was wondering if Leon was going to be selling the medical marijuana out of the parking lot. Now, it does make sense that the place that's it's called Holistic Missouri,
Mm-hmm.
but they're based out of D.C. That's the company. So they're one of the few that is out of state that was granted a license.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking into their company a little bit because I was wondering, I'm like, okay, now this might make sense to, like, is their business model to put their facilities near hospitals?
Mm-hmm.
Because I could see that making complete sense.
Right.
But I'm not sure quite yet. But I did see that they're in 5 other states currently and in the District of Columbia. And they recently got $55 million from somewhere
Oh.
to where they have expanded their reach in Michigan and California to where they're building their state headquarters there to where they will grow as well as dispense. So they're going to harvest and have a warehouse and all this kind of thing.
Wow.
And so like it's got, because I was curious, I'm like, okay, if they're out of state and only a few people got out of state, why are they getting one? And I'm still I haven't done the deep dive yet. Actually got a little distracted yesterday
Yeah.
because of news going on when I was going to possibly take a look at that. But I do find it interesting that, there's a couple out-of-state ones, and I'd like to know what they're about. That's all.
fair. I think that's going to be a fair question. I do like where they're currently positioned. We see currently that there are going to be at least 2 dispensaries in Delmar Loop
Mm-hmm.
along the 3-mile stretch of Manchester Road through Ellisville and Baldwin. There are going to be 5
Yeah.
licensed, and this is the one I like to see right here. The Cherokee Street Business District will see 3.
Really?
They're going to see 3 dispensaries, and
Now,
there'll
there's
be
one downtown, I think, and it's across from the police station.
Oh, really?
I think that's what I had seen.
Oh, that's cool. So that means if it's across police station, that's gonna be right next door to your soccer stadium.
Oh, that could be good.
That could be pretty dope. So the day that becomes recreational, that's gonna be the
Yeah.
most successful.
Because that's what you have to think here, too. Is
Yeah, that these businesses who are able to get the medical, you would like to think they're gonna be the likely places should Missouri go recreational, where
they'll design it for an easy turnaround
Right.
in terms of whatever.
And Cherokee makes a lot of sense, and for several reasons, because Cherokee has been at the forefront with CBD stores, and a lot of the shops in the area kind of have been. It's like Cherokee's been prepping for this for a couple decades, if you will. So it makes sense that they have 3 on that street. Well, yeah, this is a good start, especially in the St. Louis area. St. Louis, I think as a whole, we received close to 66 of the licenses. Kansas City around 40, 44. So St. Louis had the most. They're in areas that I think could certainly use the business. So I'm game for it. I'm all for good starts. Obviously, I would love to have seen them go all the way, but I think this is fine. I think this is one of those things. I think come 2020, I think the state of Missouri ultimately starts putting the pieces together to roll out one for the state. And then
It's
also
still slow, though, man.
it's very it's
just
beyond
because,
slow.
like,
Yeah,
look,
no doubt
Illinois
about that.
hit the ground running
Running,
on
yes.
January 1st
Yes.
for recreational.
Right.
Like, hit the ground running. And then here, they're still, like, talking about doing, like, checkups on the facilities before
Yeah.
opening them in the spring. And the rumor probably being around, like, early summer, them opening up. I'm like, get your shit together.
Yeah,
Like,
it's definitely one
let's
of the.
move.
And then I'm also curious, even from now, and again, this is one of those other big issues that if you care about going into the elections, probably going to be debated about over the next handful of months. But where does the federal government ultimately step in? You're looking at nearly 40 states now, Chris, that
Yeah.
have either medical or recreational marijuana.
Say Bernie Sanders said like 100 days within office, he's making it federally. He's dropping all federal restrictions on it. Something like that, right? Or 80 days. He said.
I don't remember the day total.
Yeah,
I mean, even if you're looking at your top tier candidates,
that's Joe Rogan endorsed.
yeah,
Bernie Sanders.
very much so. But I even think even if you look at a guy like Joe Biden, I think it's one of those issues where I think even for him, he'll probably push the issue in his first year in office. Now, I don't know if he'll do anything like what Warren and Biden suggest within their first days, 100 days in office.
He might,
but
just because it'll be
it's just low-hanging fruit. It's an easy
look
win.
Look, I look at Biden this way.
All right.
Like, I look at him kind of as a George W.
Yes.
As in,
you can.
he's the figurehead.
Yes. And you have others.
The people under him are the people doing
Yeah,
business.
I can see that.
That's kind of how I view him.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. But I think
He's the one that gets you into the office. Everyone else is going to be doing the business kind of deal.
Like I said it before, and I don't know how closely contested this presidential race is going to be, but I've said, like, if Trump wants to get an easy W, if he wants to maybe pick off a few votes here and there, if it's going to be close, I don't see why he just doesn't go ahead and just make it a federal mandate. But maybe he still's got 10 months. He's got to draw someone. When desperation hits, I'm sure he'll give it a shot. So maybe that'll win. Maybe finally a desperate Donald Trump means we all win. Finally, where that works out in our favor. Thank God.
Black sheep, I can imagine a lot of the licenses go to the cities and liberal districts, while Branson, Springfield area will be granted much less. The director and super conservative super conservative, and from down there, I could see him trying to keep his area pure.
But that's to me,
So- it's so
but here's my
funny.
thing. I don't, and again, I don't want to
funny, though.
stereotype rural Missouri, but I feel like you live in an area where I'm not even trying to poke on Chris. His family lives on a lot of land. If Chris and his family at one point was like, man, we can make an extra $500,000 a year on paying our property taxes and taking care of whatever by growing 50 yards worth of marijuana. You see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like people who live in rural areas would be like, no, make this a thing. Am I wrong in that assessment?
Well, I'm curious with Black Sheep's comment there, like whoever this person is, if that's keeping their area pure. I mean, I've seen a whole bunch of shit about opioid issues in rural areas.
Right.
And not only that, you're cutting back on expanding Medicaid and actually helping people out that have those issues. And how is, like, if that's an issue and this is not pure, then ooh,
But I'm saying-
you might have that flip flop some in your head, fella.
And I'm not saying like every person who lives in Farmington has farmland, but I feel like people in rural areas who
Or
want-
lady, I don't know who the person
who
is,
wants
so.
to be self-sufficient. People in rural areas are naturally more self-sufficient. So I feel like if this is an opportunity for them to earn a little bit more a year, and it would virtually cost them nothing but space they already have plenty of, I feel like rural area would be
What areas?
the rural area would be jumping over.
Ruler?
I'm surprised. Like I don't know. If you told
Well,
me I had 3 acres,
You're undoing 100+ years of propaganda.
but man, I thought at the end of the day, money
Yeah.
talks, and you're telling me if
And it will. It's all. I mean, the
Okay.
tide. You're not putting this toothpaste back in the tube.
right. I've been to beautiful Farmington. These people, these lovely homes, these tons of acres that are surrounding them, and I'm thinking all you need is just a corner of your lot, and you're good. You already you got your guns. You already got the security system in your house, so you already got everything that you would have living in a rural area. Why not grow it, and why not make an extra $50,000 to $70,000 more a year? That to me would be a given. If there's a politician that's coming to my town, I live in Farmington, I'm like, bro, if you ain't talking about that green, get the hell out. What are you talking about here?
You ain't talking about that.
You ain't talking about that green, Chris. That's what should be. Maybe you should run. Maybe you should run for office.
if I'm the guy.
I'm talking about that green, if you know what I mean. Dead
South
in
City
20.
Tone.
You sell a lot of shirts, those printed shirts.
South City Tone. Plenty of empty lots in the city to grow.
That
on.
is very true. Good God.
Maybe we'll get a Snappy Bigman infused. Brew it.
That's what I want. I just want all the landing to become, just take those buildings, gut them out, and just grow rows after
take out a
row.
whole-
What if it
after
take out a
row.
whole
revitalizes
neighborhood.
North St. Louis?
It will. It can. I think it will. I
It'll
think.
revitalize anywhere it goes.
I'll say, why
I mean,
the hell not?
better can get better, like, or good can get better.
Look, at this point, I'm with, look, either gut them out to build marijuana farms
I like better can get better.
Yeah, that's good.
or tear them down and let's plant 10,000 trees. Look, let's either do something for the environment or do something for the local businesses.
Yeah, the trees thing is a nice idea, but you need to do a little more than that.
Yeah, I agree. Look, so
I
when-
like green space.
I look.
though.
I'm all for turning the inside of the arch into a wind farm.
What about the new Top Golf surrounded by a marijuana field?
That is even better.
Is that happening? Is
that-
that a go?
For last time I
seems
checked,
like
it
it.
seems like it's
Shoto?
good to go. I haven't seen them break ground, but look, they said they got everything they need to keep it going. So I'm looking forward to it. St. Louis, all right, getting kind of cute. Getting kind of cute, baby girl. Getting kind of cute. I see you, baby girl, losing a little weight. Ass getting a little fat. Her looking nice, looking real pretty. What's going on with your girl? Where you been? I ain't seen you around a little bit. That's how it's gonna be driving around St. Louis. Hey,
that-
St. Louis.
Is that how it is?
Hey, stranger. What you been up to? Damn, girl, you been to the gym? Damn, you got 2 Top Golfs? Oh, shit. Okay.
It's
What's
like
that?
when O'Fallon got its second McDonald's, and I knew we were a growing city.
No, we in there.
It's happened to Farmington now. That
Oh,
was-
I
that
see
was
you.
a true
oh,
sign.
Oh, I see. I see you're going to shut down a couple of exits to start building your soccer stadium. Okay, baby girl. Getting right there. Okay.
Well, for the NGA too.
Oh, I said, look, NGA, they kind of breaking ground, building things, looking all sexy and shit. Okay, I see you. Oh, I see those brand new lofts going
Giant.
over your city. Oh, okay, cutie.
Giant marijuana facility right next to a federal agency.
Perfect.
Yep. Sign of the times.
We there. That's good. That's good, man. I'm glad we're moving in a direction. It's still, to Gardner's point, oh, it's brutally slow. But I'm
That's
glad
why
we're moving.
federally it would help just you know what? Just do what you need to do here. And we could just stop having the nonsense conversations about this and that. It's all right. Find the models that people have already been using.
Yes. But that's the thing about, I think right now that
And
blows me
go.
away about politics, Currently. Like, you don't have to be.
Get me in the can of business.
There are. Here's the thing. There are ways to win, and I think the thing that really is blowing me away. There are ways that you can win as a politician, and I'm surprised that the shitty, corrupt route is the way that everyone continues to choose. Like, think about. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be funny. If you were to what politician, if you were to just vote simply as a populist, or you would dictate your agenda as a populist, you would be a hero in this state in particular. If you were to say, let's expand Medicaid, let's bring in marijuana, no one would give a shit if you had an RD in front of your name. If you did those two things. Honest to God, you would not lose votes. If Josh Hawley said expand Medicaid and go ahead and allow medical, he would actually be able to win his Senate seat his next
Well,
go
he
around
did
instead of
what-
it being contested.
Oh, he won this last one. I wouldn't vote for him still though.
You wouldn't vote
He's
for
a fool.
Yes. Yeah. And yes, I guess that's why that's why even like somebody like Lida, I'm like, you
Look, here's
don't have the
I
world's
was
best
te-
political
I was-
savvy.
I was
Why wouldn't you
texting-
just do that?
I was texting with someone yesterday about the Kobe stuff.
Right.
Because there's a certain Cardinal pitcher that really
Who
loves
loves
Kobe,
it? Yeah. Jack Flaherty.
So I was texting with someone about that. I said, hey, maybe lay off Jack for a little bit here. And this person was like, yeah, I deleted a tweet from the previous night just because I understand why you did that, but just so you know, Josh Hawley dies, my tweets stay. Like, they aren't going anywhere. Like, they stay with him. That's who he is. Because I even put one up yesterday where he put like whistleblower in quotes.
Oh god.
So I kind of manipulated his Twitter bio and put constitutional lawyer in quotes and provided it to. So like those aren't going anywhere no matter what happens to him.
I just think there's an opportunity for people to be.
He's a phony. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. You see a chance for people who still crave for leadership. Like, despite Americans being duped by both sides when it comes to some of their political agenda, there's still that hunger. There's still that desire for people to follow a strong leader, for there to be a strong leader. And we still see that despite everything that's happened in the last 3.5 years with this current administration.
Now, if Josh Hawley did pot for potholes, hashtag
okay.
take the high road, I still wouldn't vote for him, but I'd at least support that policy.
My thing is, if you're going to go out, if you're going to have some type of legacy, have one. And that's the thing I think that's kind of troubled me about the people who currently follow this president. Like, if you're going to follow someone, follow somebody that you would want to hang your hat on to them, not because it's obviously politically expedient.
Yeah,
But I just feel like if you're going to hang your hat on someone,
But there are people that are trying to do both, and that's Josh Hawley. That's
Yes.
why I see what he's doing when he's talking about, hey, I'm taking on Facebook, taking on Google, taking on these. I'm spending more time tweeting about Hong Kong than I've ever spent in the city of St. Louis. He's setting himself up for that post-Trump era, whenever that may be. And I'm not. I can see it happening, and people need to be pointing
Which,
that
which,
out.
which I understand. Even why somebody as ambitious as Holly would want to do that. My thing is this: I feel like
I
the
listened
people.
to-
I guess I'm from the thought of if you can, like, even with, say, somebody like Kasich. Here's a guy who put in the work in Ohio, though. So it isn't just because he's an attractive candidate. It's also people from his home state can speak to his credentials. Where with a guy like Holly, I just don't understand why he's been so quick, or why a leader would want to be so quick to pivot to the next part of their ambition
He-
without establishing themselves already. And
Because
maybe
he
just don't
knows
have
what's
to.
working for him
That's
now,
true.
but he's also looking ahead. Like, I don't think he's a complete
I just
idiot.
think, if you lie
which
to
is
man,
why I fear what he stands for, because I know he's a phony. I know he's a phony and what he's about, and to not be trusted. And I listened to an interview Tim McKernan did with Jack Danforth, former Senator Jack Danforth, that he did recently.
right?
Danforth has championed Holly, and when that topic was broached on that podcast, Danforth didn't talk much about him. All he basically said was he's a smart guy and this and that, and kind of wanted to change the subject. I wanted to know more, because when you champion a guy like that, and I find it actually Danforth's comments to be revealing in a way that he doesn't want to really talk about Josh Hawley right now, because I don't think Danforth is a fan of President Trump, even though he's a conservative. But to leave it at that, I found it to be quite cowardly as well, because this is someone you championed, and this is what they've become, this is what they're doing, and just to leave it at that, I thought we deserve more of an explanation if you're going to back someone like you did, and now just kind of say, well, they're smart. Basically what you're saying is you don't agree with what they're doing, but you know why they're doing what they're doing, and to not go into that part of it, I don't respect.
And I think for me, just even locally, I guess I know we've said it before, and I apologize if I sound like a broken record. Nothing's, especially if you're talking about legacy, and I feel like that's kind of mostly why folks become politicians. It's a tremendous opportunity for you to leave a lasting, impactful legacy. And so I just think that if you're at the point,
This is why I started a bullpen cart movement.
that's just very smart of you. I think once you reach to a particular point, though, like, why? I'm almost like, I'm almost at the point though. Why not?
What's
I don't
your
know.
legacy? What's your legacy?
That's what I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about maybe I should just run for mayor and just be the
Mayor of what?
Do the pot? Maybe I'll just be the
Oh,
pot
no.
guy.
Oh,
Maybe I'll
no.
just be
Mayor
the guy that
Blackjack?
just runs off pot.
Have like weed on your lapels and everything.
Who's the mayor of Blackjack?
Maybe that's something I can look into.
A fiefdom mayor? Become corrupt?
I mean,
Ooh, that'd be good for you. Everyone else is doing it in this region. Why not? Why not you? Why not you?
yeah. Would you guys back me? Would you guys come out if I like ran for office? Would you
Did you
guys
shake your
like?
head no?
You didn't even let me finish my damn sentence, man. Hold on, man. You just shook your head. What the fuck? What kind of shit is that? You just shook your head.
I think it's just his.
You'd find a way to get murdered in a not cool way.
Why don't, so you telling me so? Because
You'd
they
be
would
caught
ask
up.
it. So what? All right. So what if the media come to like, what do you think about your
You'll have
co-host?
to go against Norman McCourt.
Oh no, I would have put him on the spot. I want to ask I want to be a member of the media. We're gonna ask Chris Denman. We just heard a rousing announcement that your co-host.
Oh, gotta go.
But
Have a good one.
wait, sir. Oh.
Sorry, it's a hawk. Gotta go.
I'm Elliot Davis. Sir. You coming out to Kransberg? Would you endorse your co-host Travis Terrell for mayor of Blackjack?
He is black.
So
Jack.
so this is your endorsement. Are you, sir, putting your full support behind Travis Terrell?
He knows Jack.
so you believe he would be a good mayor?
That's my man.
So you support him, of course.
Look at the time.
What about an endorsement? Do you formally endorse Travis Terrell for mayor?
Y'all don't want my opinion.
Oh, we sure do. You're a white man. Please
no.
tell us.
I mean, that's questionable. You did great work on that. Did you see that IT scandal? I can't believe how well you covered that.
That's bullshit. Gardner.
Just sidestepping.
Yeah.
Chris Gardner, you worked with Travis for several years. Are you endorsing him for mayor of Blackjack?
What's his agenda?
He wants to bring back the
Never
green.
mind. Yeah, sure. Why not?
So you just didn't care.
All you need to
Wait.
say, your response should have been, he has one.
He-
And then I'm like, I'm on board.
Yeah. Wait, Blackjack, is that in Missouri? Oh, sure. Cool. Yeah, he can do that.
Yeah, that's all. That's all you have to say. Is that
Okay.
okay? How much damage could he do? Well, there's your slogan.
How much damage?
How much damage could I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you say it like, how much damage could I really do?
I'd say like
Honestly, I think that's what people. I'm not even trying to be funny. I think that's what people thought in 2016 with Trump too. I think a lot of people were really like, "Let's be honest. How much damage can he really do?"
Yeah.
I think
there'll
honestly
be
there were people
there
like
to-
that who were like,
there's a constitution to protect us. There's these certain, mechanisms in place to protect us, right? Whoops. All right, so you got to go against Norman McCord. It looks like.
"Okay, white
Have
guy."
you seen it? Yeah.
Oh,
I just clicked on it.
Like my chances. Like my chances.
Man, now I gotta endorse you.
Elliot Davis specializes in investigating waste of resources, so of course that would be who is interviewing Chris about Travis.
Okay.
At least you know if I show up late to the office, you know why. It's the Mayor Hawk.
Mayor Hawk. They're off Old Jamestown Road. Oh, I love Old Jamestown.
What about Old Town Road? Grammys were last night.
Oh, could
Grammys
Lil Nas
That's
X
a transition.
could Lil Nas X do Old Jamestown Road for your
Take a trip to the old Jamestown Road.
that could be your campaign song.
Going up north to the. Yep, there we go. Anybody watch the Grammys last night?
Yeah, watch a bit of the Grammys.
Billie Eilish won
Billie Eilish
every-
won big.
Everything ever.
She's coming to the Enterprise this year, and I hate that they are sold out because she was phenomenal. She's the next big thing. She's
Her brother too.
Phineas won Producer of the Year for non-classical, so shout out to him. So big night for their family. Billie Eilish has arrived.
She's a big Office fan.
She's a huge Office fan. She's only, 17, 18 years old?
I think she's 18.
18? And
think.
she's on her way. She's the truth.
Well,
just won a Grammy.
Probably made Netflix all of their money back
Right.
off their investment with him, and he's noted by the Grammys as having the comedy album of the year. So I think we're just fine, people.
I think their story's pretty cool too. Like the idea of Billie Eilish and her brother, they talked about it. They would just sit in their bedroom as kids, write songs, come up with music, and now they get to do it for a living. And now they're two of the biggest acts currently, and in all of music. Phineas has become a very popular producer and songwriter, and that's a pretty badass tandem with those two working together. So she's got an incredibly bright future ahead of her. Lizzo, I think, took home 3 Grammys. So it was a big night for her. It was a big night for Nipsey Hussle and his family, who passed away, of course, a year ago. Talk about L.A. losing icons. Nipsey was a Nipsey Hussle tribute yesterday with John Legend and DJ Khaled. It was a moving ceremony. Of course, a lot of people gave shout outs to Kobe. This Grammys opened up with a performance from Boyz II Men and Alicia Keys. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday in tribute of Kobe to open the Grammys. And the house, as Alicia Keys said, the house that Kobe built in Staples. So it was a lot of raw emotions. Big night for guys like, for the folks like Ariana Grande had a big night as well. Taylor Swift was not in attendance. A lot of controversy also surrounding the Grammys these days. The Grammy president just recently released from her contract, less than a year in on the job. She's asserting some special privilege and some sexual harassment have taken place in the background of the Grammys. So it was a very odd night at Staples, because on the other side of Staples, people were still coming up to the arena, leaving flowers and jerseys and mourning Kobe and Gigi's passing. So it was a very odd night in LA as far as the entertainment's concerned. Kobe was a big music fan. Of course, Kobe did the eulogy from Michael Jackson in the Staples. So It was a very weird Grammys night. Like, you were happy, obviously, for the acts that performed, but it was hard to truly get into the performances because of what had taken place hours before.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's a big night. But the future is now. The Billie Eilish is the truth. He's going to be around, Lord willing, for a long time as far as creating great, great music. And I see why she's a star. She got that it. She's got that it. You can tell. I mean, she keeps her head down and do the work. She's going to be around for a minute.
The future is now.
Future is now.
Travis Terrell, Blackjack Mayer.
Mm-hmm.
I do
Now,
have.
Norman C. McCourt, I've looked this up now.
How old is he?
I'm not quite sure, but in 2007, he was elected unopposed. In 2011, defeated Kenneth McClendon.
I love the unopposed.
And then he had 3 people he had to defeat in 2015 for mayor.
And he won it?
And it looks like he won that one too. I don't know the percentages, so I just want to figure out what we're going up against, basically. Do you mind if I run your campaign?
That's not a problem.
Oh boy. Now I see the motivation behind the encouragement. from
Well, it's
Mr.
just,
Gardner.
I mean, Travis, I grew up in that area. My roots are in that area. And when I lived in North County, you know what we had along Old Jamestown Road?
Bubbleheads.
We had that. And we had Jamestown Mall. Is there a Jamestown Mall still?
There is no Jamestown Mall.
Thank you for saying it.
You think I should be able? That should be my kickoff. I should say.
There's no Jamestown Mall. That's where I had my first Chick-fil-A, was Jamestown Mall.
I was about to ask, where'd you have your first Chick-fil-A?
Now you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good question, Chris.
Thank you.
Jamestown Mall. We can make this happen.
We certainly will.
I'll do some Alpo research on this fella, and we'll see what else we can come up with.
Go ahead and make that happen.
There's a letter from him to the National Fair Housing Alliance. Let's see what he has.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm trying to run a
There it is.
campaign here, Chris.
Yeah, you're on it. I believe in you. Anything else pressing at the moment you wanted to get to today, Trav? It's Monday again.
Oh, shout out to the Ferris wheel in St. Louis.
Oh.
Went purple and gold last night. It was cool. I know I hate when these moments happen because they're so tragic and sad, but I also love that there are still a few things left in this world that, for the most part, we as human beings can gather around. And like I said, the days ahead, people will share their full thoughts on Kobe, but at least for that moment that, people took the time to, from all walks of life, everywhere, to salute a great man. So
Certainly.
Can I shout out?
yeah,
someone?
get some shots. Who you got, baby?
I only got one. We talked about her last week, but I just think it's worth mentioning again.
They love my watermelon, cause you know they're just so sweet. Red or yellow meat, my prices can't be beat. They the best in the land. One bite you understand. Trust me, I ain't playing. One taste and you'll be saying, You love my watermelon.
Watch out, Billie Eilish.
Coming for you, girl.
That's all. You're welcome.
They love my watermelon.
Continue to pick on someone suffering from addiction.
It's pretty assumption. That's a pretty
Okay.
interesting decision with no
Okay.
context or no research of the subject.
Whatever works for you guys.
Okay. That's all I got.
That'll do it for today. Thanks for tuning in. We're back live tomorrow, 8 a.m. We'll see you then.
Peace.
I love my watermelon.